Greetings. Good evening. Happy Monday. Hope you had a lovely weekend and feeling all rested and ready for a new week. A new week in the month of August. Are you feeling the power of this month now that we had that whole experience with the eclipses and the Mercury retrograde? Is things starting to feel more grounded, more in alignment with your heart's desire? I'm wondering how things are feeling for you. But here we are with our regular check in. And if you're here, say hi. This is our regular check in with my letting go guidance system to see. So basically, my intention with these weekly sessions is to just help us come together, bring our energy together, land into the present moment, and just have a look at what's our intentions, what are we wanting, what are we needing, and what can we focus on letting go of in order to it's letting go. To me, is about letting go of the things that don't serve you anymore, always remembering that we take on patterns and beliefs and thought patterns that in the moment seem to fix an issue or be the right um, system or the right way to do something. Hi, Bernice. Nice to see you here. So when we do things like that, we it's based on the highest good in that moment. But then sometimes they get stuck, and we have patterns, and we do the things in the same way, but it's based on something that doesn't work anymore. And so, with all that being said, this is what this whole idea of the letting go guidance system is just I encourage you to just land into this moment with me. And if you're watching the recording, you can still do this. It still works just as well. So just take a nice deep breath. Park all the things that you need to do or that have to happen this week. And we're just having a check in. Hey, Randy. Nice to see you here too. Hope you had a great weekend. So nice deep breaths, landing into this moment in space and time. And then just let this question bubble up. See if there's an area that you're feeling a little bit blocked. It's maybe not going as smoothly as you think it could. And this is an excellent time for us to be doing this, because I just realized that on Wednesday, I believe it is, we have full moon. So this we can be putting on in our mind, like I said, let something bubble up. Is there an area that you want to get a resolution, get something cleared out, and give it up? Something that's not serving you anymore. And with that, let's see what will come up for us this time round. And what's going to come up is misunderstanding. So interesting, how I just was saying that when we get into patterns, or we get into ways of doing things, or processes, beliefs, mindset, and sometimes we take them on based upon the resources, the knowledge, the situation at that point. So let's say you have a problem, say 5 or 6 years ago, and the way you did it then was the best way, but now you're still doing it in that same way, but it's not relevant anymore. So check in with yourself and see, is there something that you're misunderstanding that you're doing because it's always been done this way, or this is the best way you can think of doing it? So just see how does that come up for you? Is there something that you're carrying a different definition, and it's not serving you anymore? And so I just encourage you to see, how does that come up for you in this moment, misunderstanding. And then I'm going to read out from my guidebook to see if this brings you any more awareness into why misunderstanding, or what's the best way to work through this one. So we all have an inherent need to be understood and heard. However, misunderstandings happen. You can waste all the time in the world trying to understand why someone misconstrued something that you said or did. In all likelihood, what you expressed triggered a defensive response in them. It has nothing to do with you. So focus on how you feel. You may feel angry, upset, fearful, disappointed, hurt, betrayed, or any other emotion. Allow, feel, and then feel some more. Write down your feelings. meditate on them, or just sit quietly and allow them to go through you. Take your time. There is no shortcut for releasing your emotions. And actually, it's interesting as I was reading that and feeling into that. So that's a slightly different take on misunderstandings than what I was feeling into. But I'm listening to this audiobook right now, which is fascinating because it's actually talking a bit about that too, is that in this human experience, we have the propensity to make decisions, to react or do something without really owning what our emotions are. And so the example that was given was that say somebody felt jealous about what somebody else had or was doing. And instead of feeling and just saying, in this moment, and I feel jealous, they were masking it and saying, I'm irritated or I'm angry. And so number one, mislabeling the emotion, but then making a decision through this emotional cloud. And so oftentimes misunderstandings can be avoided simply by allowing yourself to recognize I'm having any emotion, whatever it is that's coming up, have it, allow it to flow, and then look back at what do you really know? What do you know? What do you need to do? And allow the response to come based on what really is, rather than masking or not allowing yourself to have that emotion. Sometimes that's the key piece, is just don't justify it. Don't feel like you're right or wrong. Emotions just want to be felt, and then they go, right? Sometimes when we get into a funk, it's because we haven't allowed ourselves to sit down with that magnifying glass and say, what am I feeling about this? As I'm chit-chatting about this idea of, because this feels like a big one, this misunderstanding, this is a good time for us to be working through this. And like I said, we can look to the full moon that's coming for the actual resolution or the manifestation of a new way of being with more clarity, more alignment with who you are. And so as I'm doing that, I'm shuffling my tarot cards because I've started doing this of late. I like to pull one tarot card and then we'll pull 3 of the angel cards. And so, this is lovely. The card that's come up for us today is the moon. And so, isn't that fun? The full moon coming. So I love the moon card to, hey, Ruth Ann, nice to see you here. So the moon is about allowing your true self, allowing your guidance, your inner guidance to come through for you. And so sometimes if there are misunderstandings, you could maybe even just write them down and put them on your bedside table and set the intention that the wisdom of the moon, which is actually a reflection of who you truly are, will actually disperse and let it go. The other piece that I want to bring your attention to about the moon in the tarot card is sometimes the idea of the moon is that if you are making decisions with limited light, right? Because when the moon's out, it's nighttime, it's dark. But if you make decisions based on the light of the moon, you can actually be into this space of misunderstanding simply because you don't have the light of the sun to shine on it. Think about if you're going for a walk in the woods by the light of the moon, big shapes, which are actually bushes, could look like monsters or movement that scares you, right? So if you made a decision based on that, it's going to mislead you. Where if you went that same path by the light of the sun, you just realize, oh, it's just a bush and it's okay. So be aware of that too. Make sure that when you're making decisions or needing to decide on something or take a new direction, make sure that you've got all the facts and that you are clear on it. Hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions or need some help with any of this, you could message me or put in the comments below. But all this being said, this is a really good reading today. So we're letting go of misunderstandings and we're going to utilize and tap into the power of the moon to let go of what's not serving us, but also being aware that you have the full light on whatever situation that you're needing to resolve or get clarity on. So the first card that's come up is support. So we just talked about this idea of you've got a misunderstanding or something that you need to resolve, write it down and allow the support of your guides, angels, source energy, the moon, to support you or to resolve that. And in doing that, when we do things like that, we get this ideas and inspiration can actually. Thank you, Nancy. I'm glad to hear this is what you needed. So ideas and inspirations come when we can get out of our own way. And by that, it's like when we release those misunderstandings, then you get the clarity, then you get the insight that is really there for you. And then the final card is romance. So I love that romance doesn't necessarily mean in relationship with other people. Romance could actually just be you absolutely loving the experience that you are in. And that will actually really be elevated as you let go of these misunderstandings, right? Misunderstandings can actually just be an internal thing, that we set up big stories and then, when we do that too, we actually are betraying our own inner core self, because our inner core self is asking for and deserves our unconditional love. So maybe you need to look at, how can I be more loving, more romantic to my essence, to my core, and see what bubbles up, see what ideas and inspiration comes when we ask these kind of questions. It's a lovely way to get the insights from within you, which is always there. I hope this serves you. Like I said, if you need some help about to like really figure out or get clear on what are these misunderstandings or where you're feeling stuck, pop me a message or pop in the comments below. I wish you a wonderful week, and I will be seeing you again next week. Thanks for watching.